in the magic of the world, they have evolved through massive amounts of intelligence to look like pine cones. Okay, maybe this one doesn't so much, but I think you're getting my drift here. To look like burnt pine cones. It's incredible, you know? Spot the morels. Well, you don't see any? You just see pine cones? That's right, because most of them are pine cones. But there's some morels in here. Fascinating, huh? That is what I think they're doing. But mushroom pickers, you know, they're full of conspiracies and all kinds of woo-woo. So this is how picking mushrooms in a burn works. You take your little dog and your basket and your knife or your bucket. The best zones are the edges of the fire. So see, it's green over there. It did not burn. Here it burned. Here we are on the edge between the two. That's your hot spot. You're welcome. Low down like this, really good later in the season. All the moisture stays down in there. Sure, you got to crawl through there and poke your eyes out, but it's also very, very good. Okay, so it's early June. We're out here in northern BC picking morel mushrooms in a forest fire. As you know, the morels come up the year following the fire. So this burn happened in September. This is what's called hot burn, hard burn, or like soft burn I described in another video, but that's where there's lots of needles and there's still living trees up there, but it's burned down here. So there's basically 4 types of mushrooms that come up in a burn. Early, you have what's called your browns or your conicas. Now these are the closest, and they're basically the same to what we call natural morels. Morels just grow naturally in the edge of your fence line, farmer's field in Alberta, BC, your own little patch on that you find in the woods. This is the first one in the burn and the very common one that's around. This also happens to be the species that from BC actually that they're cultivating and growing in Japan on God knows what. Then as the heat picks up a little bit, you get into the grays and the blondes. Okay, those can get quite big. They need some heat to come. In poor ground, you get these fascinating mushrooms. Now I know they don't look green, but they're called greens. Okay, they're quite a dense mushroom. They'll get quite big. And if you hold them up in just the perfect light, there is a tinge of kind of olive green. They can also be called olives. Sometimes you can see that green on the stem on random ones that you might cut. Like, for example, right here, you've got that green. This mushroom here is great for eating. This is ripe. This is not something though that a buyer wants to buy. It doesn't ship well fresh, and when it dries, it'll taste great, but it'll look not so nice in the packaging. Although this one isn't quite as ripe, it's pretty ripe, and that's kind of what you're going for. Nice size, nice shape. And of course, there's everything in between. Here's another gray. See how it almost kind of looks fuzzy? Where the green is kind of smooth. That might take you some learning if you're picking on a fire, on a burn site, to tell the difference. But it doesn't matter, they're all edible. Flavor-wise, this is top shelf, okay? These, they still taste like morels, not as strong. Finnegan is healing up really well from his bite, where a big dog clamped him. Got a puncture in there and a puncture in there. That one's still weeping a bit. So we're letting that bleed out. He's walking all day. He's feeling great. And That's kind of what's best for him right now. If he swells up at all, time for some antibiotics. But he was just on a course of antibiotics for getting his teeth extracted, so I'm a little bit hesitant to just, you know. All right, there, I hope you learned something about green morels and about fire morels. Windy day, trees are coming down out here. Mosquitoes are just ripping at her. Not so bad at the moment because I'm on the edge of a clearing here. Oh, I got the camera pointed at me. Because I'm on the edge of a clearing here, so we're getting, you know, you can see the trees moving. We're getting quite a wind in here. All right. Thanks for watching. Remember to, you know, like, thumbs up, subscribe, stuff like that. I wonder why morels are shaped the way they are and are the colors that they are. Why is that? And maybe like the gray ones that I showed you guys earlier. I wonder why they're gray. Do you think the morels are that smart? Me and Finnegan think they're that smart. Might be morels, might be pine cones. Oh, they're pine cones. Oh, they're morels. Oh, they're pine cones. Can be tricky. Right on the edge of the burn here. All right. So we're only in with buckets today, even though we came a hell of a long way and hiked through a bunch of swamps you wouldn't even believe to get here, because there's a lot of pickers on this burn. But they're in here, mushrooms. But now, you know, we're kind of in the position where the buckets are full and we're 3 miles from the truck and didn't bring a big backpack, and that's just the way it goes. But I'll show you this big morel here. Little perspective on the size of that. And then, you know, so you go all day, it's kind of scratchy. And your buckets just happen to be full when you get into them. That's okay. You know. They have different scientific names. These are the grays. I have no idea why they're called grays. It's very important to have a morel guard. Finnegan is here guarding these morels. Thank you, Finnegan. Yeah, it is a different planet. Same burn, different day. Let's talk about the false morel. Some people might get confused. This is your brain morel, or Gyromitra esculenta. Let's take this one up for a little look. They're quite fragile. They are not at all like a morel. As you can see, the structure is very, very different. Now, they can get quite big. There used to be a market for these. In fact, there still might be in Finland. It's the only country that really eats them, because they concentrate a dangerous substance. I think it's called hydrazine, something like that. It's a component of rocket fuel too, apparently. Drying removes some of it. And then when it's eaten by the finish, it's rehydrated, boiled in water, the water's chucked away, then it's boiled again, water chucked away, and then whatever you're left with is quite a delicious mushroom. But that toxin can build up in your system. Here's an old, done but still edible proper morel. Okay, very different. So anyway, that substance builds up in the system, and then eventually it can be too much and it prove fatal. So, but it is apparently a delicious mushroom. I've never eaten it because it's just Russian roulette. Why bother? But people do all kinds of weird shit, do they not? By we I mean me and Finnegan. We were picking diamond willow fungus all morning because I've got this little antenna on the truck. It's a piece of diamond willow wood, and I joke that it's my antenna to locating more diamond willow. And I just can't not find it wherever I go. So spent the morning doing that, and it was just incredible. I didn't have the phone in my pocket. I might go back in there later today and show you what that's like. But anyway, we're going for a big hike today. Yesterday we screwed up, right? We went 6 kilometers or whatever through the green to hit the edge of the burn, and then you might as well have just drove there. Picked a bucket of mushrooms on the side of the road. So anyway, well, there's lots of brain morels in here. So today we're coming up from the south, hiking north up into the burn. And so far it's just way too green. See this? That chokes out all the mushrooms. Morels anyway. There's lots of these though. You know, maybe you could get rich on those. You could certainly fill a bucket. But by the time you beat a bucket of these mushrooms back through the 4 or 5K back to your vehicle, they'll just be all broken up and shit. And then what are you going to do? You got a toxic mushroom to deal with. Don't want to deal with that. Ooh, there's loads of them in here though. That's fun. Why not? It's a great little opportunity to teach you guys something you probably didn't know. Yep, used to be full-on pick-and shows, buyers, dryers running just for this mushroom alone, this Gyromitra esculenta, brain morel, false morel. Delicious morel if you like rolling the dice morel. We'll just keep going. We'll keep going until we come into a burn that is not all full of green stuff. So this burned earlier in the year, last year. All these seeds had time to get established, germinate, whatever, and then overwinter, and boom, they're coming up. Whereas you find an area of the burn where it burned later, September, nothing had a chance. Winter came right after the burn. And then in the spring, the mushrooms have a chance. All these trees are dying. The sap is retreating down the trees, full of carbohydrates and sugars coming down. The organism which is attached to all the trees and attaching all the trees together anyway is having a stress reaction, stress crop. Get as many fruiting bodies as we can up to get more spore in the air. And this spot won't be killed for morels forever. There's morel organism connected to all this stuff. The cycle will just repeat. Nature's amazing. All right, so we made a bit of a mistake today. We got 5 kilometers of this to hike back through. It's worse and better in spots. But I stopped here to make this quick little video because I want this to be for real. I I can smell a diamond willow fungus. I don't know how far away it is. This is going to be totally honest. The camera's going to get jiggly. So here is where we're at. Now, the wind's coming this way and there's a willow tree right here. So maybe it's as simple as that it's right here. It's gone. I caught like 2 whiffs of it. Now let's see. This is how incredibly awesome this spiritual, wonderful mushroom is you can smell it. I mean, it could be coming from a tree a ways away for all I know, or I may not find it, but I don't smell it anymore. Here's another couple diamond willow trees. They're old enough, they're of the right age and decadence. Just smelling the wind here, sniffing like a dog or something. Oh, this guy. Oh, it's gonna haunt me if I can't find it. What if it's like 10 feet in a tree and that was just a one-off? Okay, I found it. It's been full on 10 to 15 minutes. There's 2 old ones up in there. Wind is really howling in here today. And then there's a nice little one there. And I want you to watch me smell it. So just hang on a sec. See here. That is fucking heaven. It's amazing. It's amazing. I just love it. So I smelled that because it's so fragrant, and my pack and rifle and stuff is over there about 30 meters, 40 meters. So the wind direction was, that's just awesome. So I'm not going to climb up and get those 2 little ones because they're pretty oldish. Well, I might, we'll see. But this one I will take, and this one too. So it's a heart rot, right? So it runs right up this seam. This tiny little one in there that tried to start. So it'll be right in the heart. It rots. That's how it works. You're probably not anywhere near as Twitter-pated as I am. Oh, yes! Yes, it wasn't just those. There's a big honker. Definitely the biggest one ever found. You are witnessing it live, sorta. This is, fuck yeah, look at this. Look at this. Look at that. That's incredible. There's another one here. Oh my God. That is phenomenal. That makes me feel like a 12-year-old boy with his favorite comic book. Oh wow. I'll be taking that. Amazing. Amazing. Wonderful. Smells like anise, licorice. Just smells like if this was a perfume or a cologne, I tell you. I don't know, how does a guy harness that scent? You harness it by getting out in nature, I guess, and getting lucky sometimes. So it was about 40 meters that way. Prevailing wind direction, blew it right to me. I just love that so much. But you came here for the morels. Now you had to listen to me go on and on about diamond willow fungus. Man, I look like a grubby mushroom picker. It's time to shave and clean up. Oh boy. While you're getting some instruction, you might as well learn what swag is. This is swag. Okay. Swag. Don't pick that. Here's where somebody picked a while ago, and this one got to live its life as it would. This is still delicious to eat. You can dry that out. See, you got your cut marks and your swag. And here's 3 little babies, which are too small to pick. Lesson of the day is swag, Finnegan. Swag is brought to you today by Finnegan. Watch how the amazing animal cleans himself. This is better. Less green on the ground. And you just gotta find the moisture spots. But it's still a pretty pathetic burn. It was good. Everybody's kind of leaving. Pretty soon heading to greener pastures. You know, that's how it goes. Not enough moisture at the right time. Blah, blah, blah. It's kind of a weak burn anyway. Only about 10% of a forest fire is what we call productive for morels. And when that 10% is exhausted by picking and not enough rain and blah, 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 it's over. But on 99% of the forest fires, only a fraction of that ground will actually get picked, is accessible. We had a nice little ridge to walk down here. Just kind of keep an eye out for some little, mushrooms. As I've shown you, it's hard to tell from the pine cones, but you get pretty good at it, even from a distance. Loving his life here. Loving his life. Are you leading your best life, Finnegan? Hey? Are you leading your best life? You're such a good dude. You are such a good dude. So, yesterday we skunked out and picked only literally a couple mushrooms after a lot of walking. So we came back in to a spot where Jeff and I had picked a few days ago. And of course I didn't expect it to be more than a bucket in here, so only dragged a bucket in. So this is where you fill up your sweater or whatever you can make a little sack of. So I'm going to take these out and basket them up, and then I'm going to show you a little inside of this morel game. We'll go to a buyer tonight, and I would like to take these mushrooms and dry them and put them in packages, but just for the sake of the video, I'm going to go sell them at whatever the price is here in the field, what the pickers are getting. So you can get an idea how it works, pick your mushrooms, get your cash in hand, and all that jazz. Blonde morels, conicas or browns. Could be a blonde, could be a gray, could go either way. That's what blondes and grays do. We're hiking out, and what do we see? Alberta's provincial mushroom, Vaccinium boreal, if I'm saying that Latin right. Aspen scaber stalk. This one appears to be somewhat phallic. I'm not sure why you pointed that out with your dirty mind. Ooh. I think he's happy to see me. So there's this little guy Really nice sliced and dried. It'll stain up quite dark. Like black, bluish. Be bluish when you cut it. If you're gonna eat it fresh, you gotta cook the living bejesus out of it. And some people will get gastric upset from it, but once it's dried, it's an incredible mushroom. And you know, you won't get gastric upset from it. But with all mushrooms, some people are sensitive to certain types. So we're packing our haul out here because it's through the green. That's the only way you're going to find any decent mushroom patches where other pickers aren't, is by finding areas where along the road it doesn't look burned, but you can hike 600-800 meters and there's a secret little part of the burn there. Tricks and tips, right? No fun picking where everybody else is. Footprints and cut marks. You go find your own little spot. Doo-doo-doo. Well, it's always something. Just out of the truck here to get the baskets. The mushrooms are in the woods. We're going to keep them in there, keep them in the shade, because mushrooms are money out here and you don't want them stolen. But we got something going on here. And not too far away, we got a wildfire. So you got to ask yourself, is it worth it to go back in there to pick some more mushrooms? The wind is blowing towards my truck. Still think it's a decent ways away, and I got to go that way to get out of here anyway. If I was going the other way, I'd be worried about getting cut off. The winds, forest fire does funny things. The wind is swirling around. Darn it. What do you think, Finn? What's the best move? Huh? Well, that could blow up. Could blow up big. I'm gonna ponder on this and have a bubbly. Okay, so I basketed them up. I was just gonna leave them here in the shade of this spruce tree off the road. There's no burn here, nobody would stop other than my truck, but this sucker's getting darker and darker by the second. The right call is to leave. We're gonna get out of here. Yeah, it's getting dark, it's getting close. I'll quickly drive down to the end. It's not far, maybe a kilometer to the end of this road. Make sure nobody's parked down there, no mushroom pickers. And then I better get out of here because this road bends around that way, and I'm pretty sure it's on that side of the burn, but what if it's not? I get stuck out here. If I get stuck out here in this forest fire, I have a game plan, but I'd have to out-hike the fire. There's a cut line with a quad track on it from some mushroom pickers that heads due west. And that's what I'd have to do. I really don't want to do that. Alright, came down to the end of the road where this fire is blowing right towards. There's nobody here, so let's try to get out of here. Well, it's looking like it's going to be pretty effing close to the road. So, could be stuck back here. I stopped and gave some girls a boost on their car. They're following me and they say they know a 4x4 road out that might get us out rather than walking too, so. This came up fast. It's only an hour ago. Oh boy. It's only an hour, maybe an hour and a half. I came up in this road. I think we're gonna be okay, but I am not certain. Well, now it's on the south side of this road, so hopefully it's far enough away that I can make the corner. Alright, good news, road is open. I still say it's a few kilometers away, and but the prevailing wind is this direction. So glad I didn't wait on that. And now I'm gonna go drive around and tell a bunch of mushroom pickers to get the heck out of here. Oh, look at this sucker. She is out of control and burning fast, man. And there was rain only 2 days ago. All right, so this is what it looks out near the turnoff. Still a ways away. The giant Eye of Sauron is billowing away up there. All aspects of nature are just amazing. I'm gonna watch this for a little while, and then I'm gonna head south because the road is clear, but the picking is done for this burn. Everyone's gonna get pushed out, and I can see why, can't you? Kind of exciting and neat. Don't worry, there's no houses around here, just gas pipelines and roads as far as the eye can see. So we'll just end this video here with we're leaving. Everyone is leaving. So I wanted to take you to a mushroom buyer and show you that little bit, but nobody's gonna be buying. Everybody's packing up and moving on. This whole place will get evacuated. And some folks will come back in later once the fire's out. So I'm going to take these mushrooms back and deliver them in person to some very lucky chef. Remember to subscribe, thumbs up for the algorithm and all that. Move some around.